Hi, Schlockmeister fans. A re-review from my previous channel, the classic 80s movie, The Stepfather. Let's check it out. Our film starts with Terry O'Quinn. He's clearly done something bad. He puts in new contacts, shaves his beard, and now he looks like, and is, an entirely different man. What he's just done is kill his entire family. And he plans to leave, start a new life with a new identity and hopefully a new family. All remnants of his old life are in that suitcase there. There's Jill Sholin, her mother, Shelley Hack, single woman. This is sometime later, and yes, Jerry, her boyfriend, live-in boyfriend, is our killer from the first part. Stephanie's father died a year ago. She's been seeing a shrink.
I wouldn't be a stepfather.
You're mad at him for dying.
I'm mad at somebody.
Jill.
That's my daughter.
You said her name was Stephanie.
He's getting his families confused.
She goes to Oak Ridge High.
Uh-huh. She's on the student council.
Stop. No.
She gets into fights at schools, and now she's out. She wants to go to a boarding school now.
I don't think we have to break up the family, do we, Pumpkin? Is the house where Henry Morrison murdered his family?
This is the brother-in-law of
I don't remember that.
where the first killings took place. His sister died.
Dickie Morrison's maiden name is Ogilvy. She was my sister.
The guy he was talking to was a reporter, and
Look at this. I swear they'll print anything to make them fuck.
he's trying to reinvigorate the case.
Sounds weird, that's all. What's that, Herb? Oh, that guy in Belgium who killed his whole family.
That gets Scary Jerry very angry.
All we need is a order around here. Order! You're a good boy, he's a good boy, isn't he? Good.
Stephanie finds the paper, then herself. She's starting to suspect. Well, Stephanie wrote a letter to the paper asking if they have a copy of a picture of the guy who killed the family. Unfortunately, Jerry got the mail first. The picture was obviously of himself, so he decides he's going to doctor up the photo. Not that photo. Put something new in there. Jerry goes to the school to get her back enrolled.
Well, I'm sort of a believer in lost causes.
He doesn't want Stephanie to go to a boarding school. He wants to keep his family intact. Here's the mail from the paper with, of course, Jerry's touches. Stephanie's shrink set up a house meeting. He's a realtor, to try to meet and talk to Jerry. And Jerry figured out who he was and what he was trying to do. He pulls out the guy's wallet and then figures out exactly who he was.
Dr. Bondrett.
Jerry takes care of Dr. Bondrett and his car.
There was an accident sometime last night out by the highway. He lost control or something. His car went off the road.
His car? I just want to say that I know I've been in a lot of trouble. And I'm sorry.
Her boyfriend, her stepdad.
You could go to jail. This girl is 16 years old.
So am I.
Jerry? What's wrong?
This punk was trying to rape our daughter.
I just kissed her good.
Crazy in a minute and hung up about sex.
Stephanie, don't you talk to your father that way.
He's not my father. He's just some crazy How can you bear to let him touch you? Stop it!
While his ex-brother-in-law continues to search for Jerry, Jerry's decided this new life isn't going to work out anymore and it's time to move on, so he's planning his next one.
Mr. Jerry. Thanks, Mr. Graves.
Stephanie finds herself in her doctor's office, poking around at his stuff, and she sees that. Jay Blake.
Mr. Meredith?
Yeah, that's me.
No, sir, right. Thanks.
Still looking. Jerry's on a ferry boat again, and he's making the change. And he's about to get a job as an insurance salesman.
Hi. I'm Bill Hodgkins.
Oh, the man who phoned about the job, right?
That's right.
Why don't you...
He finally tracks down the correct house.
Yes?
Hey, it's Gerald Blake home.
No? Was he supposed to show you a house?
He sells houses?
Yes, he does.
He finds himself a new home,
I'm Bill Hodgkins.
a new neighbor,
House next door.
Oh. So we're neighbors.
and maybe a single woman to be his new
I'm
wife.
Dorothy Reinhardt.
You ever seen this guy before?
Huh? The beard's new, but he looks something like the guy who sold us this house.
Could be him.
He forgets his name here.
Hodgkins, what's to get wrong?
What did you say?
Huh? Wait a minute. Who am I here? Thank you, honey.
Jill Schoen has a really nice nude scene here. I really wish I could show it to you. But trust me. The two finally meet.
Hi, Pumpkin.
Of course, it takes more than just the one gunshot to take care of Jerry. But that ought to do it. Jerry finally tumbles down the steps dead. Mom and Stephanie are okay. Alright, let's talk about The Stepfather. This is a movie, growing up in the 80s, I saw this movie quite a bit. It was quite popular with kids of my era, and it was on cable a lot, and people were renting it and watching it. It was a decent movie. So anyway, what we got here is, I think it was loosely based on a story. There was a guy, I think they finally caught him after about 30 years, who killed his whole family and started a new life somewhere else. It's a guy here, the first scene in the movie is he's slaughtered his whole family, the kids, the mother, and he leaves, and we see he's completely changing his identity, shaving off his beard, changing his eye color because of with some contact lenses, and he goes to a new town, starts a new life with a new name and a new job, and we fast forward, I don't know, 6 months, a year later or so, he's moved in with Shelley Hack, who lives with her daughter Stephanie, who's probably like a junior, senior in high school, I don't know, and the Shelley Hack's husband died like a year earlier, a car accident or something, I don't know. So Stephanie's having some issues with that. She's seeing a shrink. She gets into fights at school, which eventually get her expelled. The killer now goes by the name of Jerry, and he's a realtor, sells houses. And he's just very family oriented. He wants everything to be like the perfect family. However, he's a little overbearing. He's very jealous. He doesn't want anybody touching his stepdaughter, Stephanie. Stephanie was like kissing her boyfriend on the porch, and then he runs out. What are you trying to do? You're raping my daughter, this and that. He has a hard time reaching Stephanie for obvious reasons. Stephanie, meanwhile, starts to suspect him because she reads a story in the newspaper about a 13-month-old case that was unsolved about the guy killing his whole family. She writes to the paper to see if she can get a picture of the guy. But Jerry manages to get the mail that day first and opened it. saw a picture of himself, took it out, put a new picture in there instead of somebody else. So that at least delayed her finding out who he really was. Ultimately, his former brother-in-law of the wife that he killed 13 months earlier, has been trailing him all this time too, and eventually tracks him down. By this time, his current life, Jerry's current life, has fallen apart, and he realizes this isn't going to work. So he starts to plant the seeds to do another life. He quits his job, doesn't tell his wife about it, finds a new job, finds a new home, changes his identity. So he goes to quote unquote work, and meanwhile he spends the day trying to start his second life. Then he comes back at night and lives his old life until it's time for him to kill off his family, which he finally decides to do. He kills the brother-in-law when he does track him down. And then Shelley Hack is a little confused at one point, and then he starts beating the crap out of her and throws her in the basement. Doesn't kill her for some reason. I don't know why. And then he goes after Stephanie, who was upstairs taking a shower. A confrontation occurs. Big fights ensue. Shelley Hack manages to come out of the basement with a gun, shoots Jerry, and then Stephanie finishes him off by knifing him in the chest. He falls down the steps and dies. End of story. There you go. That is The Stepfather. Now, they did make a Stepfather 2, which I think also starred Terry O'Quinn. So I've never seen that movie, though, so I don't know how that happened. They also made a remake of this movie, which came out in the last 5-10 years or so. I'm not sure. Maybe it was longer than that. I don't know. It was this century, put it that way, though. But I haven't seen that one either, but I do have that one actually. So anyway, that is The Stepfather. It's a pretty cool movie actually. It's got a brief nude scene from Jill Schoen, but it's a very nice nude scene, a nice celebrity nude scene there. And yeah, it's a pretty decent film. I think I like it, and I think you would too. And I'm guessing a lot of you have probably seen this movie already. So that's it. Check it out. Let me know what you think about The Stepfather. Watch it. Bye.